Hello everybody, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series here for Season 4. It's round 13 and we are back at Brazil, an iconic track for JACKOCAR history, and we are looking forward to yet another classic tonight. We are losing two more drivers from the playoffs and we're going to have, hopefully, a race just as chaotic as last year. Will Pete be doing his funky tricks up at the front of the grid again, I wonder, but we'll find it all out with myself, Owen Wyatt, of course, as always, and alongside me, the man himself, it is Jacko.
He's back once again, isn't he? Good evening, Owen. You've basically taken everything I was going to say out of my mouth, so...
Apologies.
Here we are. We've just recovered, by the way, from a very last-minute call-up.
Literally a call-up.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a little bit not ready for this. But yeah, so it's simple maths basically. You've got the round of 8, Jordan and Jamie. They are in must-win situations. If they win, they go through, they upset the top 6, and if neither of them win, then it's very simple, and we have a top 6 in the playoffs. And of course the chase continues as normal. Kieran's still in control of that, and then we've got Thomas and Iceman in the 2 positions behind, so lots happening.
Of course, one advantage that Jordan has is that he's a Joker tonight, so that means that for this must win, he has put himself in the best possible position for it. If he can win tonight, he's actually picked like the most ideal time of the season, as it happens, to do a Joker. Especially if Vitinho is completely just out of it, he'll be the only one on a Joker. And it means that he has got a big chance, actually, of sort of upsetting the odds here. Not a massive, risky 20th to playoff style upset, but if he can make it work, then yeah, perhaps this could be his day. But we are here. Hopefully all of our timings are correct this week. Would be nice for once, wouldn't it?
It would. Do you think we're going to get it, though? Probably not.
Well, let's see. The first car will be out for a qualifying ban, but yeah, we'll see if it comes out at the correct time.
And that will be, of course, Mr. Risky Racer. What we should be saying, Owen, is anybody in the chase who is minus 48 after this will be eliminated. So it's not just Jordan and Jamie and the few guys close on points in the playoffs that are at risk. It is chase drivers as well, so we're going to lose our first from them, I expect. Those are at risk of people like Deck and Ben Harrett and OKK. But people like Iceman, Kieran, Thomas, Vitinho, despite his problems, will carry on until next week. So we'll see who we lose tonight as we await for Risky to begin his one and only lap, the installation lap.
And as you've probably already worked out, viewers, yes, my time is wrong. He, according to my watch, is meant to be about 40 seconds ago, but obviously not. I can see the Twitter chat absolutely freaking out. So look forward to the race, folks. Looks like a classic's being prepared, but if we can ever get qualifying itself started, then that'd be quite nice. And you know, to see this chase campaign, by the way, it's really good. I mean, it tends to be decent most seasons, but so far this one has been really high quality, I think. You've got Kieran, who is still leading it, which probably surprises him more than anyone else.
By the way, Kieran all week has been saying, my arm hurts because of the vaccine, so he's getting his excuses in now before he loses the lead. But credit to him, he's actually had a solid postseason thus far, as you rightfully say, Owen. One to watch.
Yeah, he is one to watch, as well as Thomas and, of course, Ben. All 3 of them lads are looking pretty decent at the minute. It should be a good fight between them 3. Now, you'll notice that I am watching Nick right now, because he's actually the first one out on track. He's gone out before Risky, and obviously I'm not able to validate which one went out at the right or wrong time, because my clock is almost certainly inaccurate. So that, I suppose, is something that would have to be looked at afterwards. I'm sure it's not a massive problem. But they did sort of leave the pits about 10 seconds separate. I mean, you can see them on track together. That's not something you normally see at the start of a quali session.
Risky probably left too late and Nick too early. That's how we've ended up with this. But we'll let it slide. Of course, Risky only on an installation lap, and Nick here for 1 week only. The One Hub Racing League owner in the infamous 64 car. Of course, the last time we saw that was it Baku? Or did we get a couple more races out of that? It was Cloudy Balloons, you may recall.
Yes, good old Cloudy. Miss him a lot, you know. And his rages that are more iconic than mine, which is impressive. So
he made it onto Clips of the Week, didn't he? A YouTube video. Because of the Baku crash.
And it was quite funny, in fairness. I'm sure some of you have probably seen it. And he did sort of lose his rag in like the calmest way possible, which was quite incredible.
Yes, and speaking of crashes, this man Nick, he was involved in the first ever big one that we had. Belgium Season 1, we refer to it quite often.
He was the first one.
Here is the man that was first on the scene.
Yeah, first to
into
get
the side of Thomas.
Typical, that isn't it? The One Hub owner is the one who gets involved in the first big one. Am I calling corruption there? I think so, indeed. As he comes up across the line, it's going to get even worse for us now, as he's about to go P1.
It's a good lap as well, but
on a technicality, of course. But One Hub will be loving that one.
They will. As we move on to deck, the lowest of the chase drivers that are here.
And that is a surprise. That is a surprise.
Yeah, because he's had 2 podiums this season.
P20 in the championship now, having had only 2 points since this second part of the season started. And it was going so well. I mean, he was close to making it into the playoffs. And, well, I suppose that's probably a good thing he didn't, because at least now he does have a little tiny chance of getting through. If he were playoffs in this form, of course, he'd been knocked out.
He'd be gone. Yep.
So I guess that's a positive of the chase, but he really does have to get this form up. A victory here is pretty vital for him, and I wouldn't necessarily call it likely as he goes
up against
P2.
the wall there as well. It's an okay lap of deck. It certainly won't stay second as we move on to Camo Babo.
Oh, invalid.
Who has invalidated? Yep. Should we move on again? Michael
I'd
Okeke?
say that's probably not a bad suggestion. Although Okeke, this might be the most we see of him facing forwards this week. He's had quite a trend, hasn't he, recently, of facing the wrong way in races. I don't really know why that's happening as well. He's just really struggling for some consistency at the moment. It's a bit like what's been happening to Ben Spurs. You know, it's just a few drivers really struggling in the league, and it's quite a surprise to see the ones that are struggling, because you wouldn't expect it from them. But look, if the chat is correct, we're in for some quite remarkable conditions in this race tonight, so anyone could get a result, but not if you're driving with a rear end as unbelievable as OKK's was into turn 4. And again up the hill, it doesn't look good at all, does it?
It's not. It's hard to forget this man's a 2-time race winner in this tier as well.
Indeed. First ever Jogo winner, wasn't he? Zigo was invalid.
Yeah, because that was Monza, and that was at the first ever throwback week as well.
Yeah. Quite an iconic day, so he'll always be remembered for that one, but at the minute his form, unfortunately, might be leading him out of the championship this season. Which is a shame, but there's always next season. Here is Ben. Now, he has also struggled a lot, but look, he's still in it. He's a little bit better off than OKK, just by virtue of a higher finishing position. I assume that's the only reason why he's ahead of him in the standings. But yeah, equal on points. There's sort of all those guys from, this Ben down towards deck could all go tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me. Everyone from Jess upwards should be all right. I think if Jess keeps her form up, she's a little bit. She'll overtake Vitinho at least, but I don't know if she'll be able to get in towards that top 3. But we'll see. But anyway, focus on Ben. Let's focus on Ben. Yeah. He's got a nice livery, I must say.
Lovely livery. I was just going to say, Jess is worth a mention as well. Obviously, advanced on Tuesday into the round of 7 in the Kia series, exceeding all of her expectations, and she's holding her own here in Cup Series as well. She'll be honest with you, she doesn't expect to go much beyond where she is in Cup Series, but she's putting a hell of a show as Ben Harrer, the number 2 Ben, comes up to the line. Is a 107.8, getting closer to Nick as we move on to Jess.
So let's see how this one's going to go then. Not going to be at the top. It will be the slowest time of the day so far. Quite a distance away from the deck actually, so that might end up falling down some distance. Yeah. And Mr. Last Minute then, here he is, Connor. And let's see if he's done. Well, he wouldn't have done any practice, will he? Because literally,
no.
all of 2 minutes before the stream started, Jacko was having an entertaining phone call. Not even with Connor, it was with Kyle, I believe, wasn't it? To get him in.
It was with Kyle, yeah.
So yeah, quite the situation.
It wasn't even a couple of minutes before. It was very much a 90+3 situation for Connor. And here he is in place of Vitinho. Doesn't mean he gets a Vitinho's Joker. That is now lost for the season. Vitinho is going to have to probably try and win the last 2 playoff races before we head to the United States for the Championship 5. As Connor comes up to the line and goes P4 for the moment. So we'll see how he gets on with no practice. He was prepared to be a Jeff, but that's not going to be the case.
Yes, quite the upgrade from Jeff, I must say. So good to see. And yeah, here's Iceman. Obviously, we missed the end of last week's race because of all sorts of drama, but I'm not entirely sure where Iceman finished. Did he win it?
No, he won the race.
Second, yeah, he did win the race. That's why there's a big 1 beside his name. Duh. So yes, he did win the race. God knows how, but he won the race. Like I say, there was the start line pile-up, which is where we cut off last week.
Yeah, there was a restart infringement from the time race leader Arnold.
That's how it happened, yeah.
As he goes P2 and inherited the win because of the penalty. So Iceman, Cup Series, newest race winner, number 21 in 63 races.
That's good to see as well, of course. Nice seeing new winners. A lot of winners, that, isn't it, actually, in 4 seasons? I suppose that is quite a healthy number.
Yeah, it's 1 in every 2 races.
Yeah, decent, that.
Roughly.
Here's a man who got his 2nd win here in Season 1, if I recall correctly, Thomas.
Something like that, wasn't it? But it's good to see Thomas actually coming back into form. The ERT Belgian driver is really impressed in the postseason, picked up his game, and much like Iceman, they're trying to hunt down Kieran, who you'll see next.
This is the race, like I say, that 2nd win that made his first ever Championship 5 possible, really. Because it gave him that sort of points buffer he needed. So if he can have another night like that tonight, then he could be finding himself on his way, because it really is very close between him and Kieran Spears. Only 3 points.
3 points, yep. Up to the line then for Thomas. It's P4, not his best.
Well, it's behind Iceman and Other Ben, isn't it? So it's not really ideal for Thomas.
And here's Kieran, coming up very quickly, Owen, up to the line. What can he do? Chase champion leader.
Not bad.
Not chase champion yet, but chase leader, I should say.
Well, he's doing
107.5.
He's done everything he needed to do there. He's the head of the pack in terms of his race tonight. And it's not a bad spot either in the overall grid. He'll probably be able to stay top 10 with that.
Yeah. In the chase, it's all about beating the guys around you. Don't worry about the faster playoff drivers. Beat who you need to beat. Here's MK Bourne eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, the round of 10, along with Pete Knighton, Season 1 champion. MK last week was stat padding. He managed to get himself, 8 laps led, a stage point, and a lot of TV time.
Yes, he was certainly taking the points off people who needed them. But, well, you've done it once as well. When the urge happens, you gotta do it.
And something people forget, MK Bourne here was the inaugural pole sitter in Cup Series. Yes. Way back February 20th last year, as he goes P7. And won in Kia Series on Tuesday around Singapore.
Oh, looks like Pete's invalid, so he's, last. Bar 1, as it stands because of that. So that's not gone well. So we will go to what is quite an important lap, possibly the most important lap of Jordan's season. in terms of his Joker. You know, he needs this to be a properly good lap to make this Joker work tonight, because he needs it. If he wants to continue in this championship, in the playoffs, he's got to make the best use possible of this.
And you know what? Even if he does win, it doesn't get any easier. We've got Canada, followed by Monaco, followed by the USA. It's not an easy run-in for these drivers. But can Jordan do it? He made the Championship 5 back in Season 1. He was the chase champion, but he's in his third playoffs in a row as he comes up round the final corner here in Interlagos. What sort of chances will he give himself as he looks to try and advance? Jordan, the Joker tonight, to the line. It's P6, Owen. It's only half decent.
Well, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see on that. I think he would have wanted it to be a little bit higher.
Oh, invalidation for Jamie.
Oh.
He's also in a must-win situation. And it's game over for the man from Cardiff.
He brought out.
He's going to have to do it all in the race.
Yeah, he brought out the pink livery tonight. It hasn't really worked out for him, has it? That is a blow, a real blow. That. But well, look, we'll see what happens in the race. I suppose. Here is Red Matt. He's just on the fringes of being in to the top 4. He's only out by, well, how many points is he out by? Well, it's just 1 point, isn't it? So same with Jamie as well. Both out by 1 point. So you know, they are fighting over it, because they're all fighting with Jake there. You know, 3 people with a point separating them, and they are the 3 most important positions in the entire playoffs as it stands.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, if Jamie, who's just invalidated Jamie, and Jordan, if one of those were to win the race, it upsets Red Matt, J-Luke, and Jake. So the bottom one of these 3 tonight could be at threat if Jordan or Jamie pulled off a masterclass.
Well, this is it. That's why it's so important. When there's 1 point separating that second threshold that you just want to be over to guarantee safety, you really do need to pull it out of the bag, as Red Matt goes 4th fastest. Next time,
only 4th as well.
Yeah, next time, which was the first time on the board, still holding P1. So he's not doing too bad.
I do apologies there. The only man to ever set the first lap and then go on to keep the pole position was Khalifa, Australia Season 2.
Of course it's a Khalifa record, that one. It was either going to be him or Arnold who had that record, wasn't it?
I think Arnold might have done something similar, but Khalifa definitely, from the first out to the win as well, kept the pole for the entire session. But here we go, J-Luke not on the mediums for a change, not like he did in the Championship 5 1 year ago. The Season 2 champion, J-Luke, to keep his playoff hopes alive and easy for the next round. It's pole position for the moment. The number 19 does what he needs to do on the softs.
Look at this! That's a massive invalidation for Jake.
Oh.
The man who's safe, as it stands. Well, he puts himself in the danger zone now by not having a lap. So that is quite a blow, or at least it could be, by the end of tonight. Let's see how Kyle's getting on as he heads on his lap.
Jake had an awful... he did the same last week, actually, and recovered it to P5, so he needs one of those again tonight. Kyle begins Sector 2.
You don't want to leave it to chance when you mess your laps up like that, though. It's
no, you ride your luck too much, don't you?
No, because it'll cost you in the long run as well. That for Jake, who really, I'd imagine everyone at this point sort of is still expecting to win. You know, it's still not happened yet.
Oh, look at this lovely toe from his teammate as well. This has worked out beautifully for Kyle. This should be pole, Owen.
It should be.
Jamie has to pit. That's the rules. But Kyle to the line.
No.
It's
P5.
not. It's not pole.
Well, that leaves it all down to Arnold then.
Just one man. Arnold still chasing the all-time wins record. One behind or level with Khalifa on 11. What can he do? Most poles of anybody in the Cup Series.
Should be pretty simple for him, this, really. We We don't expect anything less from Arnold in these qualifying sessions. But let's see. You know, it'll be close this. I think that middle sector is very similar to Jamie's, if not, a little bit slower. Might even split the top two. Let's see. It could have a banging final sector though, but this isn't going to be as clear cut. He's not done it. Only P3.
It's only P3.
Yeah.
Luke on pole for Brazil then, where he won the title last year. Nick on his return to JACKOCAR goes P2, and Arnold, points leader, P3.
What a close session that had. A top 7 separated by less than 2/10. I mean, that must be right up there for one of our closest ever qualifying sessions. And wait till you see what the weather's going to be like for the race, because it looks like we're going to get all sorts happening. So do stay tuned for this one. This is going to be a pretty decent race.
Yep. Sorry, Aaron. I was just texting as I do naturally. Stage points tonight: lap 9 and lap 18. Of course, pretty short playoff points available on those laps, unless MK Bourne decides to steal one of them again. You never know. But Brazil, in real life and in league racing, it usually delivers. Are we in store for another treat tonight as Arnold completes his in-lap, and that will complete qualifying.
Yes. This should be decent. Let's say the weather is looking pretty wet. We'll say that much for the race. 9 years. Is it 9 years to the day? Let's say we had that wet one in Brazil where Vettel won the title again and Hulkenberg bottled the same race twice.
Something like that, isn't it? Yeah.
He bottled the same race twice. I wonder who's going to manage that one tonight, huh? Here is J-Luke then. He's on pole from Nick, Arnold, Kieran. What a performance for a chase driver. That's really important. Iceman, Kyle and Redman, like I say, all those top 7s so close. Then you got Ben. Good performance from him. And then Thomas and Jordan round at the top 10. We got Deck, MK Paul, Connor, Jess, Camerabo, and then you got Pete Risky, Jake, Jamie, and OKK.
And Ben Spurs, 2 weeks in a row, having his best ever qualifying performance. It is wet, and I've had a communication from the league owner of One Hub Racing, okay? And obviously that's Nick, we all know that. For your information, I've never done a league race in the wet with no TC and manual gears.
And he's starting on the front row. Not the best place to start when you're losing it out of the turn 3 exit and facing the whole pack. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen an accident on the way down to turn 3, thanks to turn 3 chaos here. And, is that going to be full wet tyres, or are we going to see intermediates, I wonder? I know there's full wet tyres in the garage, but that's never really a good sign, actually, because it always sort of gets that wrong. So I wonder if we'll even see inters on this start, but we'll see.
I don't know if you've had it before where the game says it's inters and then it puts you on the grid and it's like dry conditions. That's a classic Codemasters glitch there. We love that one. Maybe not today. It looks too wet, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've had some good memories of that glitch. And it is intermediates. It is intermediates. Actually, it's probably...
By the way, that was Jamie Wright's 8th pole in the Cup Series.
I'll tell you what, this would be a decent stint, wouldn't it, if Jamie goes out and wins this one tonight?
He needs it.
He does need it.
He needs it for the points. Not necessarily to advance, I think he's safe on that. But the points is the biggest thing, because he's not a fan of Canada and he's not a fan of Monaco. So who knows? I
mean, just in terms of I think he's still equal, isn't he, with Arnold for most wins this season on 3? Just to keep ahead of that, because Arnold will want to sweep everything, won't he, by the end of the season? And for Jamie, who's somewhat under pressure to come out here and win tonight, would definitely not leave Arnold best pleased. I'm telling you, he won't be very happy that he's not on pole. Because
Arnold in third just doesn't seem right, does it?
But it's not the first time we've seen this happen, where someone who looked so dominant ends up not falling back massively, but slightly falling back enough to a direct rival to the point where you think, hold on a second, that wasn't in the script. And yeah, Jimmy loves a good flip of the script. I mean, he is the one who dethroned Kyle really in season 2. And for the first part of that season, Kyle looked like he could have done the whole season unbeaten. He was that quick, and he still didn't win it. So you know, Jamie's good at upsets.
He's also, you may recall, Mexico season 2, the dry to wet race, where it was sort of under control for Jamie to begin with, but when the rain come down, he found himself with a 28-second winning margin in the end. So he likes these conditions. Everything looks like it's in his favour at the moment.
Well, he's lining up on the grid with someone who's never done a wet race with no TC before, so we'll need to sort of keep our fingers crossed that he's still alive by the end of this first lap, but assuming he is, then he will be looking pretty decent, I would say, for some sort of result today. But let's just wait and see, as they all line up on the grid.
Just to point out, P8 where Ben Spurs is sat, that is the earliest point where you can initiate your restart from, between there and the timing line. Wyatt, it's over to you.
We've got 5 lights. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in Brazil. Let's see how they all get down towards turn 1. It looks like a pretty decent start from Arno. He's got his triangle around the outside of Nick. Will he be able to make it work? There's a few cars sliding off the road. Arnold has got through. Kieran there is fighting away with Red Matt. He doesn't want to risk too much here. And look at the grip. Oh! And that's what I was worried about on the exit of 3. But luckily it didn't lead to anything more. As Kieran moves up into the podium positions. And that is Nick's lack of traction showing there in turn 3. Was not confident at all getting on the throttle and nearly caused the big one. But did get away with it. A few more guys going side by side further back. Camo Babo appears to have had some sort of accident because he's fallen way down the grid, as has Jordan, and he could be a driver facing the chop tonight because this is the absolute disastrous start that he was dreading right now. He's lost 7 places, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, but the only advantage he's got there is he only has to make 1 stop, and if it stays into conditions the whole race, he should be just about alright. But Jamie has it all under control as we come up towards the end of the first lap, over a second clear of Arnoud. Nick's dropped down, Iceman's dropped down, and Red Matt made up a couple positions on the start. Ben Spurs, with his best ever qualifying, retains P8 at the end of lap 1.
Kieran's pitting, so is there actually damage, or is it an early pit stop for some sort of strategy? Because we have got 6-7 cars in the pits on this first lap. They can't all be for problems. Let's see what Kieran's going to do. Nah, it's strategic. This is strategic. So, Kieran has come out of the pits in some lovely free air. He's doing his first stop really early. Jordan will be hoping that the whole field do their stops super early, because it means he's leading the race easily, without anything to worry about.
And I think so many cars doing it. That's 7 cars, as you say, Owen. So many doing that on lap 1. That's going to force the hand of the top 13, or top 12, excluding Jordan. It has to, surely. I
agree. They can't just let these guys undercut them like this. But you could argue, is the undercut even powerful on lap 1? Maybe not. But let's see what happens. If you're Arnoud and Jamie, who's already got a 3-second lead, but Arnoud's certainly looking quick enough to pose a threat, what would they do? Will they take it to the pit lane, or will one pit and the other stay out? Let's see what happens at the end of lap 2.
Jamie will stay out.
They both stay out. So they're both happy to keep going, as is Nick. Red Matt will cover off. He will pit.
I think that's sensible. If it was me, I'd be doing what Red Matt's doing here. As does Pete, as does Jake, as does Jamie, who needs to win, don't forget. Jordan stays out and overtakes Risky's car, because Risky's not here at the moment.
Yes, he's got the big red X over his name. As OKK nearly finds himself facing the wrong way, but he does collect it all up. Now, let's see where Kieran is in relation to Red Matt, because it'll give us a decent indication of how that might end up looking when the leaders come in. He is well clear, isn't he? So that
he was ahead of Red Matt though when he pitted. That is the only thing. They were 3rd and 5th.
You know, Kyle's jumped him too. That was worked out nicely.
Yep.
For Kyle, he'll be happy with that. And so, yeah, Kieran's got still that 5 seconds of free air that he can use to just pull away. Remember, there's no DRS here, so you don't have to worry about being sort of in that 1 second gap. But yeah, let's see how this pans out. Are the leaders going to think about pitting as well? On this lap, Jamie will stay out, Arnold will stay out, Nick will stay out, as will NK Bourne. So obviously Jordan, we know about him, he will stay out because there's no reason to pit this early on his Joker. Yeah, only Risky's budging on this lap.
Jordan has a decent lead over Kieran, so Kieran and Jordan are the two drivers of interest at the moment. It's just keep your eye on that gap between 5th and 8th.
Yeah. Right, so, well, all this pit stop malarkey, it means the race hasn't really got started yet, has it? They were just sort of waiting for it all to sort of happen. A few things happening. You got Jake, who's sort of stuck here behind Pete. Really does need to get a move on right now, because with Jamie leading this and Red Matt ahead of him and on the track, he's got to just sort of push on now, because he doesn't want to find himself being dropped out of the playoffs, because that's what's going to happen as it stands. Or at least drop him into the, well, not dropping him out right now, but it'll drop him outside of a safety zone for the next 2 rounds, and it's not where you want to be.
Yeah, it wasn't mentioned, but coming into this, Kyle, Arnold and Cam not rested tonight, those 3 have already advanced to the round of 6, so they're already eyeing up a Championship 5 spot. We're just waiting for the next 3 to join them in the round of 6. Of course, I keep saying it, Canada and Monaco over the next 2 weeks before we head to Texas on the 16th of December to crown another champion. OKK pits this time around. And Jake, is he going to close the gap to Pete? He doesn't appear to be, does he? He's sort of saying very static right now.
It is, isn't it? It's all... Ugh, we're just waiting for it to happen, aren't we?
Yeah, Arnold is closing the gap to Jamie, though, up front.
Yeah, riding on board with Arnold. He's got a lot more ERS. He could probably pass if he fancies it, but he doesn't. Shock horror, how many times have we said this? But he'll find a way ahead, won't he? At some point. But this is where Jamie's got to definitely show on the wheel-to-wheel stuff. This is where he has to be if he wants to win the title. As Jake has cleared Pete, so that's important there. Really important. Good stuff from him. Top 2 still don't fancy pitting. And Arnold
first stage point is lap 9, don't forget.
Yeah, Arnold was using a bit more of the ERS down there towards turn 1. Didn't get close enough to think about any moves though.
Are you getting flashbacks to a year ago around here where Arnold let J-Luke through?
Oh wow. Kieran, that was a bit wide. He went right off the road in the final corner to pass Jess, and that could so easily just lose traction on you when you do that.
Got away with it, did the young man. But yeah,
he got through.
Do you get the flashbacks of when Arnold let J-Luke through last year to follow him, to catch up to Kyle, and he never got back past?
Yeah.
And then because of Kyle's penalty, Jamie is season 2 champion because of that.
I guess we're sitting here looking at another sort of Khalifa case, and it's happened to him twice, the poor guy, Arnold. You know, it's where it's virtual safety car. That'll be pit stop, won't it? I don't know what this is for.
Jess, no front wing coming out the pits.
Oh, Jess. It's a pit lane, Jess.
She's got to do a whole lap like that as well. That's going to be horrible.
Well, that could be the end of her chase campaign, couldn't it?
I think so. I think her points margin will keep her in it.
Do you know what, as well? I wonder how many will pit here, because Kieran is going to be furious. Oh, penalty. Oh, no, I was going too fast. He will not be a fan.
All eyes on Jordan. What will Jordan do? He will stay out.
This is painful for Jordan as well. As much as Kieran's going to be annoyed, Jordan's going to be absolutely fuming about this. Will he even get out in the lead? I don't think so. No,
he's got the delta still. He can't do anything.
He's going now. He's going now. Risky is speeding. He's got a penalty. That could be him as well going down, but we sort of expect that anyway. Jordan. That VSC has ruined that, hasn't it? He would have been well clear. Even with that, he still almost led.
The thing is, you know, everyone has to make one stop now, so Jordan is in position. He either gets a move on and fights Jamie, or he becomes Jamie's best friend and holds Arnold up. But something I will tell you now, Jamie cannot afford to think, I'm going to let Jordan win this to ease my chances of going through, because he doesn't have the points difference like Arnold does. You know, that's something Arnold can think about to get rid of a rival, something that we saw Khalifa do last season, letting Paul McGuinness win in controversial circumstances. But we have yellow flags again. It's a blue car. It's OKK who's off the track.
Well, on the plus side, he isn't facing backwards. But
Safety car.
Yes. Now he's going to make sure he gets back to the pits. Would you give me just one moment? I'll be back in just 1 minute. I'll let you talk for a bit.
Okay, I shall talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the JACKOCAR show. It is named after me. It's great to be here once again. I do believe... Well, to give you some stats, actually, whilst we're here. This is mine and Owen's 60th race commentating in the Cup Series. And our 53rd time partnered up as commentators. Quite an impressive stat, that one, I think. What else have we got? So, I'm not entirely sure what caused the safety car there, but J. Luke has collected it early. Jordan, the Joker, in P2. Arnold speeding in the pit lane, finds himself third. Jordan split into two runaway leaders from the beginning. Nick on his return to JACKOCAR, the one hub owner, finds himself fourth, doing alright, considering he's never done rain and no traction with manual gears. And Kieran, the chase leader, currently finds himself P5, doing everything he needs to do. Iceman and Thomas are 8th and 15th respectively. They are his rivals at the moment. Kieran is going to the USA to fight for a title. Owen Wyatt, you're back.
I am indeed. So, obviously OKK making the pit stop. That would mean that he is the second driver to have made 2 stops. I'm not too sure that he'll get to the end on those tyres, but you never know. Might be worth giving it a go.
The safety car actually saves Jess here. She can catch up to the back of the train now, so that's great news for her.
Yeah, it might save her blushes a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yep, and could we see... I know it's early doors. 2 stopping OKK.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Is it his day?
Yeah.
You know, it's rain, it's Brazil.
It's a recipe for disaster based on his recent races and already on the start of this one, but look, it could turn round. And maybe this is the turning point. And, well, we'll see. We will see.
We do hope so. He is, along with Jess, a very long way behind that safety car.
Yes.
Risky as well. But we should have another lap or two. End of this lap, actually, which J. Luke is on, is a stage point, a playoff point, a crucial point as we look into the third round of the playoffs. It's hotting up, isn't it?
It is a bit, isn't it? I'm hoping we don't spend too long this week sort of theorising about what's going to happen. I hope we're going to see this stuff happen this week. You know, I'm still not over last week, you know. But it does look quite good this time. And, yeah, I was wondering why Jamie got by Ben. And he's sort of saying in the chat the game told him to do it. So if you're wondering why Jamie got past Ben for no reason, 13th and 14th, well, I don't think even they know. The game just sort of made it happen. Which is an odd one.
Yeah. By the way, just gonna...
Oh. Interesting. Now, he's gone straight on, hasn't he? Oh, well, is it front left? Has he brought the front left or the front right? Pete, we're talking about, although I'm sure you can see it.
I'm just...
Oh! Dex had it. Now, that is a proper accident. Again. They're crashing everywhere, these guys. What an odd situation. That's a front left gone for Pete, so perhaps... Was he near Deck on the track? Because he possibly crashed into Deck, and then maybe Deck's gone on with damage and had a further accident?
The game said that MK Bourne picked up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Pete.
Oh, I see. Right.
But there's no damage for MK. And
So
then Deck had his
possibly,
own accident.
yeah, possibly then that's Pete running to the back of MK Bourne, and then the accident happening later on for Deck
Deck
being
blaming
unrelated.
Jamie, actually,
Jamie.
in chat.
I see.
Jamie 2905, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Jamie's been active in the chat during the race, and he's just asking what happened. So that clears things up, doesn't it? So
Yep, I wonder if there's some
desync.
desync, maybe. Before that all happened, I was going to introduce you to a new glitch that we found last night in TGP.
Of course.
Safety car come out around Imola twice, and it said it was coming in as it entered the pit lane, so it caught everybody off guard.
Well,
that was good fun.
Luckily, we've been given some fair warning this time. And Deck says apparently Jamie's hit him in the back, and it's knocked him out of the race. I would have thought Jamie would be aware that that's happened, so for him to not know that's happened is quite odd. But the safety car has pulled in, and we're getting ready for a restart.
No damage on his car, but let's see how J-Luke handles the restart. The last one we had, it was penalised.
Yes, and it crashed the entire game and ruined everything.
Here we go again. Perfect launch from Jamie.
Jordan can't really do much about that one. It was a very good restart. And looks like we're going to have a bit of side-by-side into one. We're going to have Kyle and Kieran. Risky stuff in terms of the championship, this. But they both survive. And is this Arnaud's opportunity to try and get himself up into second position? He pulls out, but there's no way through. He has to just concede the position for now.
Kieran on the grass going down into turn 4 there. Just about gets away with it. Kyle, good move on the restart there. And Jamie has opened a gap up already over Jordan, 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, definitely appears to be the stronger driver out there when you compare sort of where even Arnaud is trying to force his way past. Looks like Jordan's been a bit of a roadblock, but I'm sure he's not going to mind that too much. I think even if he gets a second position tonight, it won't be enough, will it? Second place.
No, he needs to win. It is as simple as that.
It really is. He has to win it. So he does have to try and find some more pace somewhere, Jordan. I don't know where he's going to find it, but he's got to. He's got no choice.
Yeah. By the way, the lap 9 stage point did go to Jamie if you didn't see it. As I'm watching Camo Babbo make a move around the outside of Connor Byers coming up to the end of the lap here. Of course, he got a 5-second penalty under the safety car. So there might be a little bit of beef here as Connor pits. Makes life easy for Camo Babbo. That'll be 2 stopping Connor now.
And through goes Arnaud. He's into second position, so that ended up being only 1 lap he held back, but it took 2 seconds out of the gap for the lead. So that'll be Jamie in a bit of breathing space. Was Connor in for a drive-through penalty, I wonder? Yes, that was his penalty. So
okay.
He's taken that.
What a shame for him.
That is a shame, but one more safety car gets back in it, I suppose.
Yeah, and Connor looking at returning full-time to the Cup Series next season. 2 seasons out of it, and a little dabble in ACC, but he's realised this is where home is. It's JACKOCAR on a Thursday night.
So they all head round now, and looks like Kyle, is on the one.
Yep.
He's on the one making the move at the moment. And trying to get himself into the podium positions.
And Arnaud has made no impression on that gap after an entire lap of clean air. It is Jamie. They're very much matched, aren't they? And Jamie just had the fortune of Jordan in between the two. And a 5-second penalty that Arnaud will serve at his next stop. Does that bring Jordan, Kyle, Kieran, Nick all into play, maybe?
I'd be surprised. I think Arnaud probably has the pace, but look, again, the safety cars will have to keep mentioning it because they can happen quite easily round here. They throw it all into trouble, so if you do have a penalty that is hanging over your head, then yeah, I suppose here it can really affect you. But we'll see. We'll see. There is a bit more fighting going on. I think Risky and Thomas have been side by side for the whole race, it feels like.
A lot of history here. A lot of history.
And still trying there, Thomas, to get through. I'm trying to remember, was it Risky and Kieran last year? Or last season?
Thomas goes wide.
I'm trying to remember who it was that had that racing on scrap here last season. Has Iceman been off? Iceman is in the wall. Or maybe... No! Oh, so close to getting T-boned. He gets himself turned back around. This is going so well for Kieran. I know he's not winning the race or anything, but he's absolutely doing his job perfectly right now. He's so far clear of his main rivals.
Yeah, it's not the race he's got to worry about. Arnold and J-Luke trade fastest laps, but if you look at Kieran's position, the 4 guys in front, playoffs, the guy behind, he's a reserve, and then you got Cashman and Redmat, playoff drivers. MK Bourne eliminated. Jamie has to win, and he's in the playoffs. You know, Kieran, he's a long way clear of Ben Spurs down in P11. That's his next rival.
Yeah.
And Ben is, of course, at risk of being eliminated in the next race or two.
Absolutely.
It's in Kieran's hands.
Just like Japan was. But he'll learn
mention
from that,
do we?
Yeah, well listen, the thing is that Japan mishap might end up being very good for him, because he'll want a bit of vengeance for that. So this is his opportunity to get some. He's certainly given himself a chance at this championship, and he could make the big performance happen on championship day. You never know.
You never know. 3 weeks to go. A lot of build-up planned for that one, Owen. I don't know if I've mentioned it.
Yeah, you've definitely got some things planned, but you haven't gone very much in depth yet of what that's going to be.
And 1 hour pre-show build-up coming up for that USA race.
Oh yes, I do remember this now. Yes, big old build-up.
Very big old build-up.
Yeah.
Kyle gets past Jordan, and Arnold is down to 1.3 behind Jamie.
Yeah, look at that. Kyle's lost 3.6 seconds this time getting by Jordan, so just means that we're back to Arnold and Jamie being the leading guys again. All on their own, like.
Yeah, and J-Luke, Arnold, Kyle are 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the all-time wins list. I should say, actually, Arnold is equal 1st with Khalifa. 2nd because he got 11 wins after Khalifa did.
Obviously, no DRS here, so Arnold's going to have to do this all on his own. And the thing is, he does have to make a pass, doesn't he? I mean, he can't make a 5-second gap behind Jamie, can he? That's not going to help anybody. So he's got to get his elbows out here. Next playoff point will be coming up soon as well, so if we can get anything done before, lap 18, isn't it? Then
yep.
He will like it. He'll like it to be done by then.
There was also lap 18 last year when Risky retired between turns 4 and 5 and brought out the safety car and brought everybody back together for the final 18 laps of the season, which of course saw J-Luke win that title. But the gap is down to 0.7. Arnold's on it here.
He's using all of his DRS as well. He's got about 40% left. A little smidge less than what Jamie has, so they should still be pretty equal, these two. Is Jamie going to be feeling the pressure of Arnold behind him? Is he going to be squirming out of the corners to try and desperately make a better gap? He's got to make sure he just keeps it all under control, but I think when you're under pressure from Arnold, it really does just become impossible to race sometimes because he is that fast. Will he give it any sort of go on the way towards turn 1? Let's see. He got Kyle there, and Jamie is sort of squirming out of the corner, isn't he? Really desperate to get himself away. And I'm not sure Arnold is close enough this lap to even think about it, so he is just going to sit back. But the gap is still opening up to Kyle behind, so these two, definitely the pace setters.
Definitely, and I just wonder what catch around pits, by the way. I just wonder what Jamie's thinking here, leading the race. I mean, obviously he knows Arnold has that 5 seconds, but will his car handle the same in the dirty air? Obviously, the answer is no. But can he deal with that if Arnold were to pass and stay in that 5 seconds? Because you know he's either gonna, but he has to serve at the next pit stop, doesn't he? Like that's just gonna happen. So
he's got to make this decision, hasn't he? Jamie, when Arnold, or when and if Arnold comes alongside him, he has to just be safe, right? Challenge at 5, maybe, something a little less serious than this one for him. Then he'd fight a bit harder. But here, as opposed to Jamie, it's still all about just making sure you are one of the 4 you get through the playoffs. Because right now, he's scoring some really handy points. Because Red Matt is down in 7th. And obviously,
and Jake
that
is
Jake
16th,
is,
15th.
Was around that sort of area as well before he pitted. We'll see what his undercut's like. But, the point is, Jamie's making a really healthy gap. So there's a lot to think about for him.
And the last thing these two want to do is to collide and not score any points.
No, that doesn't help anyone, so they won't do that, I hope.
It would help Kyle, who's just pitted, along with Kieran.
Yeah, let's see where sort of they come back out into. Are they pitting in response to Jake, I wonder? I don't know how many of them were near Jake, in fairness, but I suppose Kieran would know what the undercut's like, having performed it. Same with Kyle, so they'll all come out of the pits ahead of Jake, I think.
Yeah, Kieran's got him covered off there, as you can see.
Not a massive gap, mind you, so Jake might be able to close that again over the next sort of lap or two, and could be in the fight for that top 5. Might be challenging, if not already be ahead of a Red Map. Let's see. We'll see when they pit. As the playoff point is just a one long blast away now for Jamie. Unless he has some sort of catastrophic mistake, he will be picking it up. So if Arnold had any plans of taking it, it's not going to happen. He's going to pit instead.
Okay. So if I was Jamie, I'm going to do the same next lap. You've picked up your 2 playoff points. Great start. But now cover off Arnold.
And I'll tell you why he's doing this.
Everyone else is in the pits.
I'll tell you why he's doing this now, because he's just seen Kyle go in. At 5 seconds, this might be quite tight. I think he's going to try and give himself the best chance here of getting himself out ahead of Kyle, but will it be enough? I'll be close. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Arnold's going to do it. It'll all be about that exit out of the 3rd corner for Kyle. But this could be side by side. This is why Arnold had to make the stop when he did. And he's just lost out to Kyle. Oh, he was so close. Obviously, Jamie will be aware he had to take a 5-second penalty, so he'll happily pit, I'd imagine, this lap. He's got his playoff point. He's done all he needs to do. Just make that pit stop, and you're on your way to the end.
Sorry there, Owen. Kyle will, being his teammate, he's probably going to slow Arnold down just a little bit, just to give Jamie that little bit of breathing space. The race is Jamie's, but will Kyle be the team player here? I think all 3 of them would love to win, I know that. But I will also say this, are the skies clearing up?
I don't think so. It looks pretty set in, doesn't it? Rain's been like this the whole time. I think
my gamma might be a little bit too high then. It looks very clear.
Yeah.
Jamie stayed out, by the way.
Yeah, I was saying that. I put him in the danger zone, of course, if there's any sort of safety car. Here comes Arnold. He's going to go past Kyle into turn 1, and Kyle didn't really fancy fighting that one, did he? Seemed very well. Oh, who was that? Was that Iceman?
Yes.
No, has he got any damage? Because he was spinning off, but this is why Jamie needs to pit, because he's in that danger zone for if that Iceman spin went the other way into the wall, then there's a safety car and he can't pit. Which is a really
too risky
silly...
now, isn't it?
It's an unnecessary... It's such an unnecessary risk as well. There's nothing to gain by staying out there, Jamie. Especially when Arnold...
Same for Jordan.
Especially when Arnold has just made the move on Kyle and has some free air now.
There we go.
And he does
Jamie pits. And I expect Jordan to come in as well, because if there's a small chance that he can still win this race, he needs to do it now, which he is. Otherwise, a late safety car could ruin his playoffs.
Okay,
you never know. You just never know.
NK Bourne's going to go for more laps led, by the looks of it.
Fair enough. You can't argue with that, can you? He said to me he's got nothing else to fight for this season. He is technically correct. So why not get a few laps led on the leaderboard?
Look at that fastest lap for Arnold. He's certainly pushing now. It's not really dragging Kyle along with him either, as well as Kyle would have hoped for. But you can see, well, you can't see actually, Jamie. He's that far ahead anyway. He's just turned into 4 now.
And 2 stopping OKK runs P3, net P2 on the road.
Yeah, gotta keep this one on the road, of course, because those tyres will not be as good as that the whole rest of the race. He's got to just keep them in check because he is absolutely on this on merit.
Yeah.
Ish.
Merit-ish.
Yeah, he brought out the safety
car,
but he has actually followed the rules, so technically it's on merit, but we've been through this many times, so we're not going to be through it again.
And if he gets to the point where he realises he can't keep up with Jamie for a potential win, he can hold Arnaud up. He can help his teammate out in other ways. And of course, that would then bring Kyle back into play. So ART have pulled out a bit of a masterclass here. And Kieran still runs net P5. Great day out for him. Arnaud, another fastest lap. He's flying. OKK will soon be under pressure from the Belgian.
I'm expecting a big fight for this. I'll be very disappointed if we don't see it. Perhaps we'll see our OKK's rear end get a bit slidey again. Oh, oops. Sorry, Arnaud. I've just tapped your front wing. Oh, and again. Oh, and again. You know? Bit of that, please. Give us some action. But don't hit him too hard. Don't knock him out of the race or anything. That's what he's getting told in his ear right now.
Oh, I imagine so.
Just a little tap.
Lurks behind, doesn't he? He waits. Fired up after last week's penalty. He wanted that win in Portugal, he didn't get it. And here goes Arnaud now. Can he get OKK for a net P2 before turn 1? Away we go. ERS is open. What will OKK do?
Looks to me like he's going to fight him.
He's going to fight him, yeah.
Yeah, I was wasting Arnaud's ERS, but he broke really early into turn 1, did OKK. And was there contact? Maybe a slight tap, but
it looked like it.
Felt like OKK made that a bit easy, actually, in the end for Arnaud.
Should have done a Verstappen and just let off the brakes, open the steering.
He's letting Kyle through now.
Yeah, that's a teammate move, that's fair enough. But he will fight Kieran, because that is for the chase. OKK a long way out of it, but he's still in contention.
Every point counts, you never know what can happen.
As always.
We've seen last to first, or last to, qualifying position in the championship happen before. We'll mention it every time. Even if it's not quite relevant, I'll still mention it.
And speaking of points, Deck and Pete, they won't be getting any today. Top 18, you got to finish to score points.
Yeah, that would be
Jordan.
Deck also out of the championship, of course, by default. Not
Easy.
that was really a surprise, but just with the way his points were going in the last few races, he wasn't going to get more today, by the looks of it. Now, here comes Kieran. He's got to make this happen safely. Because, the guys behind, Jake, shouldn't cause that much of a problem as long as Kieran gets through quickly. Here he goes.
Here we go.
Inside of 4, heavy defence, but fair. Looking for the contact, because there will be some. There it is. And again, Kieran getting bumped around here by OKK, but he's through and into 4th position.
Good driving. Good racing from both of them there. Now Jake's on his way to catch up to OKK. Who lets him by straight away. So Jake, with another invalidation, finds himself top 5 again.
Yeah, typical, isn't it? How does he do it? How does he do it?
Jake realising the bigger picture, these points do count in the next round of the playoffs.
Red Matt's sitting there thinking, uh-oh, I've been left behind here, I've got to catch up now as well. And he's going to try and start doing that, but he couldn't quite find a way through Nick there. I wonder if he's going to try and get these two, really quickly, because he sort of has to now. Doesn't really work out for him in a minute. We were surprised by his, slow-ish quality performance based on his normal form. And again in the race, he's not really as high up as you'd expect. But let's see if Nick can make any move. No, nothing.
And I know we're a long way off, but if it finished like this and the Championship 5 was next week, J-Luke, Arnold, Kyle, Kieran and Jake would all advance. Of course, Cam not racing tonight. Cam, the only driver to finish in the top 10 every single race. Red Matt looking a little bit lively behind OKK and Nick still. But it looks like Jordan and Jamie down in P10. It could be the end of their playoff run.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Unless something absolutely miraculous happens.
I need a miracle.
It's over. I think Jordan got... Was it Jordan who nicked through here ahead of Fatinho just about as well? He did it on the final lap in Austria. So, I mean, he's not a stranger to clutch results, but it would need a particularly clutch for this one.
Quite the clutch. So that battle for P6 looking very good, isn't it?
It is indeed. Here comes...
OKK pits. What a shame. That leaves Nick exposed to Red Matt.
Yeah, that means Red Matt can switch him. He's doing a dummy, but it's not working. Nick holds his ground, but remember his traction problems. This might let Jordan into it.
I think it will. Red Matt, is he going to go around the outside? No, he looks back to the inside. Nick gives him the room. Very one-hub racing of you, sir. Into turn 4 they go. Red Matt slides up the inside. There's contact, and he saves it. But now Jordan's on the back of him. We've got a race here for P6. Red Matt recovers that ground. Red Matt, by the way, on pad. Did you know that, Owen? I thought he was on wheel. I think you found that out earlier this week.
Good stuff, that, on the pad, then.
Yeah.
Proud
user yourself.
Yep. I'm a cheapskate, unfortunately. I can't be bothered to get a wheel. Sorry. There he goes, Red Matt. Trying again.
Oh, great move if he pulls it off. No traction on this corner, by the way. Horrible corner. But around the outside goes Red Matt on the one hub owner.
That ain't gonna work.
Maybe it will. It definitely won't. Remember, Red Matt, a champion in one hub this season. Looking to become a champion in JACKOCAR.
Tell you what, I'm watching this whole thing from on board Jordan, and I'm just waiting for him to get involved, and he just doesn't fancy it. There's yellow flags, but I'm not entirely sure what for, because everyone going through there was going through there pretty flat out. And like I say, I'm just watching on board with Jordan, and I'm waiting for those two ahead to have some sort of, fight, and for Jordan to swoop in. And it's a fascinating place to watch a fight from, but Jordan just isn't able to get involved with it, unfortunately.
Isn't able or doesn't want to?
I'd say isn't able. He's got less CRS than the guy in front. And every time there's a chance to nick a position, he's not doing it. So it does seem a bit unlikely that he'll be able to get himself up into the lead, don't you think? So, yeah.
Nick, meanwhile, doing a great job. Considering his problems.
He is doing a good job, but he's still got 9 laps at the end of this one to keep doing that job. Arnold is slowly closing in on Jamie, but not at a fast rate that would worry him. I think he's sort of just... He's controlling it at the moment.
Yeah. J-Luke, he's been there before, he knows what to do. And one more win for J-Luke would put him into double figures. Just one win behind Khalifa and Arnold. He'd be on 10. Where's that come from? It would be his 4th win this season as well. The winningest driver this season. That's what he's looking at. If he can hold that gap. Red Matt on the back of Nick once again. It's going to be to the outside this time into turn 4. Red Matt goes for it. Onto the grass he goes. And Nick covers it off. Great defence once again. No damage for Red Matt. Jordan follows and looks on.
Yeah, he had a good old tap on the back of Nick's rear little right tab. He's surprised there was no damage from that, actually, but... I mean, Red Man just broke a bit too late, didn't he, and got onto the grass. I don't think Nick did anything massively wrong. You could see it coming, though. But, yeah, Red Matt just not really got the confidence, perhaps, to send one up the inside or, surprise him somewhere. He had a little go a couple laps ago, but apart from that, he's not really doing much.
Like everybody else, he needs to think of the bigger picture, but at the moment, the bigger picture is he's being beaten by Jake and Jamie. Yeah, this is not good for the next two races.
Yeah, this is the bigger picture.
Yeah, he has to get past Nick.
Yeah, it's losing him crucial points. Because he doesn't know what the next two races will be like. He could have shockers in the next two. He needs to make sure he's getting as many points today as possible. As does Thomas, as he's trying to go himself around the outside and making contact. Is that going to be into the wall for Jamie, or is he just going to be okay? Because look out for the cars coming into him! No. Obviously the cars don't ghost, and I wonder if Jamie's just forgotten that, because he has been T-boned. And Ben, what a shame. The poor guy. It's going to have to be a new front wing. And there's going to be no safety car to bail that out either. But there is a chunk now, a front wing, sat at turn 1. So that could cause interesting activities later on, I wonder.
Yep. It only happened to me the other day. I ran over... Oh yeah, it happened on Tuesday night when I drove in Kia for the first time this season. I was hunting down Indecisive Matt. He hit the wall coming out of the grandstand over the track, and I went over his front wing and got a puncture. So it does happen.
Happened to Arnold in the first race of the season.
It did. Well. Happened to Pete in Russia.
Yeah. So we know it happens to anyone. Although our face of front line doesn't seem to be on the racing line very much, so it looks to be pretty safe at the minute, which is good. No one's going to end up with an unlucky puncture.
Meanwhile, Red Matt is still eyeing up the back of Nick. And Kieran holding his own against Jake. The gap has closed, but it's closed and nothing else has happened there. Sector 1, a yellow flag.
Is that on the main straight, or what? Or are they just retired in the pits, both of them, too? Well, it would be a safety car if they'd been on track, wouldn't it? It's just when the two cars all go grey like that, you do wonder, but... and they're all okay. Is Jake fancying a move on Kieran? Because obviously he knows that Jamie's leading the race. He needs to try and make sure he loses as few points as possible to him. Arnold's still catching. Doesn't look likely that he'll catch all the way, though. It would need quite a gargantuan effort on older tyres as well. But he is closing the gap. And no one's really making moves, are they? They're just not able to at the minute, unfortunately.
There's been 3 or 4 yellow flags since the safety car. And so Jamie has had a lot of time to think about when and where he needs to go to the toilet. But he's held his own. 3 seconds the gap. It's starting to pay off. It's starting to look good. Less drivers on track. Less chance of a safety car. Can he hold on for his 10th win in the Cup Series? A place in the round of 6 awaits.
Right. Of course, I'm forgetting about Red Matt's penalty as well. What's his penalty? Is it just a 3 second he's got? Because, well, I was going to say that NK Bourne could jump him, but he's got a 5 second penalty, so ignore that. Actually, it just might help Jordan pass, but that's not going to help anyone.
It might help Thomas.
Although
Thomas might get P9 out of it.
Possibly, if Thomas really gets his foot down.
As he has a moment. He almost lost it.
Now, the keen viewer will have noticed a certain Arnold just set the fastest lap of the race, with 5 to go. Still pushing. And there's a bit of traffic coming up for Jamie in the shape of Ben and Jess. Might catch both of them too before the end of this race. Will it cause problems for him? Only have to lose a second on each of them, and you're under pressure all of a sudden, you know?
Well, Ben, first of all, is a teammate, so I can't see there being any problems there. There might be for Arnold, however.
Well,
knowing that you can hold up under blue flags, providing it's not dangerous. Maybe Jess would be the bigger concern for Jamie at this point. as he comes round at the end of lap 32 to begin the final 4 laps. It has been somewhat, so far at least, a normal race.
We're not used to this.
No, we've had to be serious.
I know. I haven't had a chance to be funny yet. I don't know what to do.
No. You haven't. You've had. Oh no, I've ruined it. Never mind. I was going to say this is mine and yours 60th race, by the way. Is that correct? 53rd race.
Well, it's either 60th or 53rd. It's quite a big difference.
Hold on. Let me get the stats up again.
I think I've missed, 6 races of our total history. And you've missed like 3 of them. It is your 60th race. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've had 60 opportunities to be funny, and I've not heard one yet.
All of that for that joke, really.
Yeah. Unbelievable, isn't it? Took me a whole minute to get that one out.
Yeah, I had to actually get you to dig into the stats.
Poor delivery.
Yeah. Just before you insult me, make sure you're making it accurate at the very least. You know?
I know, I do apologise for that. I was poor.
It was a bit.
Iceman picks up a penalty. It's not been his day. What about Kieran?
What about
Still
Arnold?
keeping Jake behind him.
Look at this,
Yeah, Arnold is closing now, isn't he?
It is getting there. It is definitely going to be sort of sweaty pounds, perhaps, on the last lap for Jamie. Although he does have more ERS, and he does still have a 2.5 second lead, so it's not necessarily the end of the world if Arnold keeps catching, but he's catching quite quickly. In the first sector, he's going to have gained 3/10 already. You know, it's fastest first sector of his race as well, Arnold. That he's given it some.
Jamie needs his teammate Ben to help out now.
Yeah, but Ben isn't. They haven't called him yet. That's the problem. They haven't called him. He's. You know, you can't just put the brakes on too early, but I'm sure it will at some point. But what if he chooses the wrong point, you know?
They will strategically do this on the straight, I'm sure. But he needs his help. He needs somebody to just hold up Arnold. Just make life a little bit easier for Jamie. This is a massive win for Jamie if he can get it.
Indeed. Like I say.
Absolutely huge. The blue flags are out.
Well, let's see. Well, how quickly is Ben going to move? It should be a pretty easy one, this, for Jamie, but watch him. He'll park it on the apex of turn 2, and it'll just ruin Jamie's race. Ah, well, he's not letting him go, is he?
Not yet. I know
he's moving
Jamie.
Now, no, he's not.
10 driver of the days. Here we go. This is it.
He's done it.
That's a team player move. That is the race win, providing Jamie keeps it on the black stuff.
There's still that minor point we've got to make. He still has to actually make it to the end first. But I would agree with you. That's probably the last big hurdle cleared, and it's his own teammate.
Look at Ben going slow on the exit there.
Oh yes, look at him. Look at him wiggling the rear end out. Oh, how convenient.
This is absolutely within the rules. Arnold won't be best pleased, but that is JACKOCAR. Red map. Has he got past Nick?
What a move. Does he keep on the road? Yes, he does. That was up the inside of 6 for a red map. That was pretty brave.
It's only 1 point, but it's the kind of move that might take you to the USA to fight for a title. As we look at 1 lap to go, Owen Wyatt here in Brazil. It's been a straightforward one.
Look at this. Arnold's going right around outside. He's had to make a proper overtake. Oh, be careful. Oh, that could have been an airplane accident. I'm almost surprised it wasn't. Ben seems so committed to keeping Arnold behind.
He's done his job by that point, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has done his job.
You don't want to see contact there, but he's done a great job for his teammate, Jamie, who 2.5 seconds clear as he starts to catch Jess as it happens. But yeah, final lap. Jamie Wright, 10 driver of the days in the Cup Series history. This, I think, well, he deserves this one, doesn't he? This should be number 11.
Yeah, I mean, he's been absolutely untouchable, hasn't he? He's been
absolutely
utterly dominant and fully deserves this. And I said he would make a statement today. A statement.
Yes, a little bit of help and a little bit of fortune. Jamie Wright is going to win in Brazil as he advances his way through to the round of 6 and one step closer to regaining his Championship 5 title from Season 2. 1 year ago, he won it there and he won it here. Jamie, on his way.
I'll tell you what, Kieran in P4, just behind Kyle, who gets to the podium. Kieran, this is a big result for him, I reckon.
That is really absolutely massive, yep.
And we see Jordan crossing the line. He is out. It is over for him. Thomas only ends up P10. And I'd say it's a big points loss that to Kieran. So I do wonder how that's going to pan out. There's a lot of fighting, by the way. I'm not entirely sure who has done what.
had a spin at the end.
Yeah, he's lost his front wing again, hasn't he? Yeah, he's lost his front wing. I knew there was something odd going on. And, obviously we also lost Jamie as well. He retired in the pit lane. But we sort of knew we were going to lose him anyway. He wasn't even on a Joker, sort of had no chance. But, yeah, we are now down to 6 in the playoffs. And obviously our chase drivers. But it feels like the Championship 5 is starting to shape up. We could be looking at it right now. The top 5 at the end of this race. That could be the Championship 5. I'd almost... Well, maybe it would take a bit of a calm disappearance for it to happen. But he wasn't here tonight. Jamie has picked up a lot of points on him. And so, Cam missing this race... He's obviously good for the round of 6, but he'll be down there now, fighting to get back into that top 4. So, at the end of this race, the top 5, as you see it, Jamie, Arnold, Kyle, Kieran, and, Jake. Who says that isn't the Championship 5 at the end of today? At the end of the Monaco race in 2 weeks. That could be it.
Well, Cam, like I said earlier, the only driver to finish in the top 10 every race this season, so he will be there or thereabouts. But certainly J-Luke with a massive points gain today puts him clear of Jake and Redmat. Oh, down in P8, that's only, what is that? That's 8 points. Sorry, 9 points for Redmat. It's, so he loses 11 on Jamie. That's 11 points over 2 races. That's a big gap, Owen.
It is. Well, perhaps they're leaving the excitement until next week. Because next week we are going back to Canada. Now, those of you who are fans of the JACKOCAR Cup Series will know that Canada is possibly like the most chaotic track we ever go to. I mean, last season it nearly had the entire league folding due to the amount of people who got infuriated by the utter carnage that went on, and it was highly entertaining. We also had in season 2 all the drama going on there with the likes of Pete losing his chance at the championship. We also had even season 1 Arnold putting it in the wall, losing his chance at the championship. I'm not sure it'll cost him the championship this year, but you never know.
Season 1, of course, is when Khalifa won from the back of the grid. Don't forget that one. So it's shaping up nicely, isn't it? 2 playoff races to go, and then the Championship 5 on December 16th. It's been good. Good having you, Owen. Same again next week.
I'd say so, yeah. We'll do it all again, and hopefully we'll be in for some race. So, yeah. 7 PM, you know it. Next Thursday. Be there. Safe travels, everybody, and take care.